This is a huge deal. Letitia James, Attorney General of the state of New York, may be on the wrong end of the law herself. This is all over the news right now. The allegations first reported by the outlet White Collar Fraud, Fox News bringing them on the air last night. On Tuesday, she was hit with a federal criminal referral for instances of alleged mortgage fraud. The Federal Housing Finance Agency Director, William Pulte, sent a letter to AG Pam Bondi and her deputy AG, Todd Blanche, accusing Letitia James of mortgage fraud. Quote, in the course of exercising U.S. federal housing authorities under Federal Housing Enterprises Financial Safety and Soundness Act, U.S. Federal Housing has identified matters that are appropriate for referral to the U.S. DOJ for the consideration of criminal prosecution. The bottom line is they're alleging that she got a second house in Virginia. She lives in New York. She's the New York Attorney General. She has to live in New York. She got a second house in Virginia, and then in applying for a mortgage for that house, she had a lawyer to whom she designated power of attorney declare that it was her principal residence. They allege that she did that because you get a better mortgage rate when you say it's your principal residence, because banks think if you're going to default on a mortgage, it's not going to be the one of the house in which you live. So if you fall on hard times, you're more likely to default on a second mortgage, like a beach home or a secondary thing, than your primary. And that she, knowing that this was not her primary residence, obviously she's in New York and she has to be, lied. And that you can't, having your power of attorney lie is the same as you lying. There's absolutely no distinction legally. So they're saying she did that. Then they're saying she had a place in Brooklyn that she was going to get a special mortgage for as long as it had 4 apartments or bedrooms or less. You could get a lower rate if you had 4 bedrooms or under. Or I can't figure out whether it was like one of those townhomes where everybody has their own apartment or whether it's a dwelling that has actual bedrooms for a family, but it's irrelevant. The point is you get a better mortgage rate if it's got 4 bedrooms or less, and this place had 5. And they're alleging that she wrongfully declared it had 4 over and over, once again, to get a more favorable mortgage rate. And then on top of all that, and this is truly bizarre, they are alleging that a long time ago, when, I don't know how old she was, but it was 1983, they're alleging that she and her father signed mortgage documents that stated they were husband and wife in order to secure a home mortgage. And then again, on May 4th, 2000, Ms. James was listed with her husband as husband and wife. And alleging that, while this was a long time ago, it raises serious concerns about the validity of her representations on mortgage applications. This is an earthquake. This woman devoted years of her life in the past 5 years to bringing down Donald Trump. For what? For alleged misrepresentations to banks about the value of his properties. The allegation was so that he could secure more favorable loans than he was entitled to. In a different, dressing, it's the same general fashion as what she's being accused of herself, Batya. Now, she hasn't spoken to it directly, but her spokesperson said she's focused every single day on protecting New Yorkers, especially as this administration weaponizes, that's rich, as this administration weaponizes the federal government against the rule of law and the Constitution. She will not be intimidated by bullies, no matter who they are. But this is unbelievable. And if one word of this is true, she is in a world of trouble right now. Your thoughts?
It's so amazing because I always say Donald Trump has a real genius for bringing out the lowest qualities in his opponents. You look at how the Democrats have turned on all of their own values the minute they suspected Trump of supporting them, whether it was standing up for the working class or standing up for free speech or standing up for women, as you point out all the time, Megyn. They simply will not ever cease or hesitate to retreat from their own values if they think Donald Trump may be representing them. But here we have something even more delicious, which is that it was revealed that the person attacking him for all of these trumped up, ridiculous charges, who went after him for the pure sake of going after the political rival of the Democrats because he was more popular than the Democrats, that she was herself allegedly engaged in the very things that she was pretending he was doing, which he was not actually doing. It is just chef's kiss, Megyn, because it is such a parallel for the Democrats who accuse Donald Trump of being a threat to democracy while themselves undermining democracy. They accuse him of weaponizing the law while themselves weaponizing the law. And this is just like such a beautiful, perfect bow on top of the box of their hypocrisy, where he again and again comes out ahead.
It's incredible. She's going to be hoisted on her own petard because she's spent the past 4 years, arguing about how no one is above the law. The powerful must be treated the same as the poor. That just because you're rich and famous doesn't give you the right to manipulate the banking system to get more favorable loans. Oh my God. All of that is going to be shoved right down her throat and into her craw in the context of this investigation and this case. Now, she'll tell us what her defense is. I'm all ears. Cannot wait to hear how she's had alleged repeated slip-ups on her mortgages. Like, one, you could understand. I don't know, like maybe the dwelling that she said is 4 bedrooms instead of 5. Maybe they did something with the 5th bedroom, like she's like counting as a study, although that's not the way it works. On mortgage law, they want to know like what qualifies as a bedroom. They don't care how you're using it. I'm just trying to look for ways to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure how you say your father is your husband. That's a tough one. It's not exactly what she's being prosecuted for. But if true, it absolutely shows a pattern of dishonesty. And by the way, pattern evidence can get in criminal trials. They've been using it against Harvey Weinstein and others up and down Letitia James's New York State criminal system. So this woman's in a lot of trouble today. I'm telling you, this is serious. Having read the complaint, Jonathan Turley was on Fox last night, and he said exactly this. It took me less than a minute to find cases prosecuted under this statute for false claims of principal residences and the other allegations. So this is not some unusual statute that they bring up from time to time for enemies. This is actually quite frequently enforced. And says this woman previously prosecuted Trump for everything short of ripping a label off a mattress. She emphasized he was ultimately responsible for any filings made in his name or that of his company, irrespective of whether he had seen them or signed them personally. He authorized them, just as she would have here. And said the greatest danger for Letitia James may be if the Letitia James standard is applied to her, where she emphasized such technicalities matter and that the powerful should not be given a free pass. This is just unbelievable. I mean, Fani Willis goes down because she couldn't keep her zipper up long enough to actually see the prosecution of Donald Trump through, right? And then I believe she lied under oath very clearly to me, as well as her paramour, Nathan Wade. So that case crumbled. It crumbled even though it was a state case. He couldn't be pardoned. There were all sorts of reasons why that one was problematic. But to your point, his enemies are just the worst people. Then Jack Smith loses the Florida case before Trump even won because he was the wrong prosecutor. They held that the appointment of this particular prosecutor was wrong. The J6 case was all but gutted by the Supreme Court, saying he's got presidential immunity for most of this. The only one who got Trump was Alvin Bragg. And even that case was really undermined by that presidential immunity finding and ultimately kind of crumbled at the very end, even though Alvin Bragg was determined to see it through so he could call Trump a convicted felon. And I think it'll be reversed on appeal. So what do you have now? You do have the E. Jean Carroll verdict, which we all know is bullshit. And then there's this case by Letitia James, which was the one I was told by Trump insiders was the one that bothered him the most all along. It's his company, his near and dear company. And what's being alleged in this lawsuit is that case was pursued by an alleged fraudster herself.
Yeah, and if this is true, I mean, Megyn, if you had done this stuff, right, like the stuff she's accused of doing, you might sort of hesitate before going out and having the most high profile person on planet Earth be accused by you of the same exact things. So you have to like understand here, how is it possible that she could have staked so much knowing that she had done the same thing if this is all true? And I think the answer to that is really important. Democrats fundamentally do not consider conservatives and Republicans to be human in the same way that they are. They don't see them as comparable. And the confidence with which she used the justice system to go after Trump for the very crimes that she herself is alleged of having committed suggests to me this kind of confidence that the system will always work not justly, but in their favor, right? There's a kind of unconscious acknowledgement here, an admission, if you will, that they believe that they are not held to the same standard as conservatives and Republicans, and certainly Donald Trump. And I think for me, that's what's really interesting about this.
Oh, she was like out there with the red drape, tempting the bull. Who could forget the many times we heard this from her in SOT 3?
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president when our fundamental rights are at stake. I believe that the president of these United States can be indicted for criminal offenses.
Will you sue him for us? Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the He's going to know my name personally.
That man in the White House who can't go a day without threatening our fundamental rights.
Yes, we need to focus on Donald Trump and his abuses. We need to follow his money. We need to find out where he's laundered money. We need to find out whether or not he's engaged in conspiracy. It's important that everyone understand that the days of Donald Trump are coming to an end.
I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, defending your rights, and then going home.
That's a Fox News butted SOT. Unbelievable. You've heard about tariffs recently, plus inflation, supply chain disruptions. It's a lot, but there is a silver lining that most people missed. President Trump specifically exempted gold and silver bullion from the tariff talk. The administration preserved the ability to diversify into precious metals. If you are concerned about your savings, consider a free consultation with a Birch Gold precious metals specialist. The first step is to text MK to 989898 and receive your free no-obligation info kit on gold. Learn how to hold gold and silver in a tax-sheltered account. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a gold IRA for no money out of pocket. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of thankful customers, consider texting MK to 989898. Again, text MK to 989898 to claim your free info kit right now. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.